Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. I've got another of our In the News segments with a few good companies to talk about. I'm going to start right now with Goliath Resources. Goliath is a sponsor of my reports. I'm very glad to have them because they continuously put out some very good news, including today, when they announced that Goliath drills visible gold in multiple holes over 1.5 kilometers and discovers new strongly mineralized 6.5 kilometer trend containing multiple shear zones, remains open, Golden Triangle, British Columbia. They talk about their drill campaign highlights. Several grains of visible gold have been identified over multiple meters in 3 out of 5 holes completed in the Golden Gate feeder zone, and in 1 out of 2 holes completed on the Sherbet blowout on the north slope. Assays are pending. Another hole had multiple occurrences of visible gold over 1.5 meters at 64.53 meters, 65.97, and 66.04 meters of depth, respectively, in what is interpreted to be the northeast extension of the Bonanza Shear. Another hole had intersected visible gold as well, as several mineralized quartz breccia zones, with the most prominent quartz breccia interval extending for 16 meters from 62.5 to 79.3 meters. The mineralized interval contains stringers and 7 massive patches of sulfides. They give you the rundown of the sulfides. Here's a good picture in the news release. You can see here that this is the outcrop of the Sherbet zone, this black line. And then you have all the various holes planned and done. I would point out an important fault here, an important fault here, and what is emerging as a very important fault. Last year, they only drilled a couple holes on this side of the fault and hit excellent grades. And now they're looking like they continue to do that with this current drilling. Hole GD23-122, multiple grains of visible gold at 1.9 meters in depth in a near surface mineralized quartz breccia in the top part of the hole. Let's take a look at those pictures. And there you go. You can see the quartz. And it seems to be associated with what looks like sulfides here. So very interesting stuff there. I always like to see visible gold, especially when it comes from a project like these guys have, because they've been able to back up those visible gold hits with good numbers as they've been drilling here at their Gold Digger project. So I don't think it's sort of a highlighted event or an isolated event. Then they talked about their Sherbet blowout on the north slope, 1.5 kilometers to the northwest of Pad A, which was done in the 2022 drill program. And it intersected visible gold in 18 meters of a near surface sulfide mineralized section of quartz breccia from 1 meter to 19.73 meters. So right below the surface. They talked about a deeper mineralized quartz breccia and stockwork section intersected from 88.37 to 89.454, corresponding to the modeled Sherbet zone. Sulfide mineralization consists of stringers and local semi-massive sulfides of pyrrhotite, sphalerite, and galena. Let's take a look at that picture. And there you can see in the core where they got some of the visible gold. Nice looking sulfides here. Looking really good on that. They just have a bunch of really great pictures attached to this news release. Then they talk about another hole Sulfide mineralized quartz breccia hosting sediments over 13.9 meters. Let's have a look at that core. There you go. Some nice visible gold showing up there. Again, seems to be associated with the sulfides. So very good looking stuff there. They highlight that another hole intersected several sulfide mineralized quartz breccia zones characterized by sherbet style mineralization consisting of semi-massive to massive galena and sphalerite, including a near surface zone where visible gold was identified. Visible gold has previously been reported and identified in the first hole of the 2023 drilling at a shallow depth of 33.23 meters. There you go. You can see it again. More visible gold. Always like to see that visible gold. They talk about 12 holes out of the 70 planned drilling to date have been intersected the strongly mineralized sherbet zone and or the Bonanza Shear containing galena and sphalerite mineralization. Let's see. The Golden Gate feeder, this really excites me, is a zone of high-grade gold mineralization located at the transition between the sherbet zone and the extension zone. Remember that northeast fault I showed you? That's the area that they're talking about. And it is characterized by high-grade wide intercepts of gold mineralization where several structures that act as a potential fluid conduits meet. So I showed you 3 faults, 2 of them sort of going up the mountain and 1 along the side. They all converge at the bottom of the mountain, and the sheets of mineralization all seem to be following that same path. So, you know, that's a pretty good indicator of what they're talking about here as a possible feeder zone. Here, the main mineralized intervals intercepted are interpreted to be the northeast extension of the Bonanza Shear. So you've got these 2 faults, one here, and then sort of through all of them is this Bonanza Shear, which is, I think, quite important to the mineralization as well. Visible gold was reported drilled in 2022. That is roughly located roughly 200 meters south of TS1. It is also located in the Golden Gate feeder zone and has 166 gold equivalent gram meter value intersecting 21.3 grams per ton of gold equivalent over 7.7 meters. So very nice stuff there. Here is the image of that. And as you can see, more nice looking visible gold in there. So, you know, they're pretty good at finding this visible gold, and then it returns good numbers. So we hope to see the same thing happen here. Visible gold was previously reported at the South Cliff step out pad. And you can see the high grade 24.8 grams over 11 meters, 38 grams over 7 meters, 44 grams over 6 meters. And there you go. More of that massive, or that gold, and seeming to be related to the sulfides. So something pretty big is happening here. And this news release, Gold Swarm discovery update. Drilling commenced on July 1st on the new Golden Swarm discovery with 12 holes from 4 drill pads. The inaugural drill program is designed to target a high-grade gold quartz breccia outcrop that is exposed for 800 meters with 650 meters of vertical relief that remains open. Channel sampling of that assayed 30 grams of gold over a half a meter. And here's another. These guys do a great job of detailing what they're talking about. Here's the channels. Here's that open relief. Yeah, they're getting at this one as well, which looks quite impressive also. They talk about reconnaissance prospecting updates, so they're getting a lot the boots on the ground to go look for additional sphalerite, or I mean sherbet style mineralization containing galena and sphalerite. And this near shear zone can be traced sporadically outcropping at surface over 1.5 kilometers within a broader trend of stacked shears traced for 6.5 kilometers that remains wide open, that they call the full house. There you can see some of the nice looking channel samples with sulfides in them, abundant galena and sphalerite. So looks like they've got something that looks very similar, quite a distance from the sherbet area. The new discovery is believed to be connected to the same high-grade feeder source at a depth below sherbet and gold swarm. This demonstrates tremendous discovery potential on the gold digger property along 56 kilometers of the red line. So this red line they're talking about is where there's a bunch of big deposits in close proximity to that red line. So it's an important distinction. What really excites me is the possibility that this sherbet and gold swarm and possibly other zones could be coming off of the same powerful system. That could be I think they've got at sherbet alone one of the most important new discoveries in the Golden Triangle in a long time. And if this all starts to come together, it could be quite spectacular. And I think there's a very good chance that that could happen. They got 4 drill rigs going at the Gold Digger property, 70 holes, 20,000 meters, and a maiden drill program at Gold Swarm, which is 4 kilometers on strike to the north of sherbet. So there you go. If sherbet and gold swarm are connected to the same feeder system and they're 4 kilometers apart, that gives you some indications of how powerful that mineralizing system could be. And they've already got evidence that it is a powerful system from the drilling that they've done at sherbet. They want to expand the footprint and high-grade mineralizations at the sherbet zone and the Bonanza Shear, with deep holes for a porphyry feeder source at depth. I'll go back to those faults, the ones that go up the mountain and the one that kind of comes in from the to the northeast, and they're all coming together. And later on they talk, oh, here it is. Drill test sherbet's extensive porphyry feeder source confirmed by the Colorado School of Mines within the newly identified high-grade Golden Gate feeder zone, where angular float samples assayed up to 924 grams of gold, 3,000 grams of silver, 0.05% copper, 12.59% lead, and 4.11% zinc. You can go on their website and look through their news releases, and you'll see the details of that paper that was delivered by the Colorado School of Mines, talking about this very subject of a feeder zone, a feeder source for all the gold mineral, or all the mineralization that you're seeing at sherbet and possibly at Golden Swarm as well. They want to develop other targets, talking about how it's located within this red line, which is very important. 59,000 hectares, large land package that's mainly very underexposed. And the reason that this is a brand new discovery is because the glaciers receded and exposed this exceptional looking rock. And they're the first company to go in and drill for that. They talk about their high priority exploration targets. They give you key details from their past drilling. As you can see, 89 of 92 widely spaced drill holes, or 97%, hit gold and silver mineralization. Here's, what's this one here? Let's see here. Oh, here again, this shows you the faulting that is happening. This northeast one is important. There's a couple that come in here as well, and they converge down here. And this is a likely suspect of where you would find that feeder zone, that they're going to put some holes into that as well. They give you a lot of details here. And you know, that's one thing that I really appreciate about this company is that they are very good at deep details into their work that they're doing. And they get that word out. And I think that they should be a model for a lot of other companies, not just with explaining it, but showing pictures. I think that, you know, in a general sense, why I wish that more companies would do that is because that's what makes the fun part of exploration or hunting for buried treasures. It's seeing those details that help you analyze the potential for major discoveries. And I think that's what they're onto, and really glad to see them putting out all this detail. There was a quote in the news release from Roger Rasmus, who said, and I quote, he's the CEO and founder. He stated, and I quote, "Getting news of additional holes containing visible gold this year is certainly keeping the enthusiasm high for what's left to come this season. The fact that we have visible gold in holes this year from GD23-111, GD23-118, GD23-122, and GD23-126 have exceeded our expectations and further confirms our hypothesis of a very large feeder system at depth. It appears the Sherbet discovery is just the tip of the iceberg, confirmed by the brand new discovery of the 1.5 kilometers of mineralized shear at Full House, located within a larger 6.5 kilometer strongly mineralized trend of stack shears. 85 new targets remain to be tested this season. We look forward to reporting assays once they are received, compiled, and interpreted." End quote. So there you go, folks. Goliath is off to a heck of a good start into what I think is one of the, again, one of the most important new discoveries in the Golden Triangle in maybe in decades. I think that this news that they've had out from the early drilling, a couple news releases from their early drilling, really confirms that realistic potential of what they're looking at here. And I sent a message to Roger that, you know, I'm really glad to have them on as a sponsor, because I love the detail that they put out on the projects. Another thing that I mentioned is that their team, their geological exploration team, seems to have an excellent understanding of the geology, and that the mineralization is continuous, and that it's very predictable. And this can be shown from the high success rate that they've had in their drilling, and you know, the details that they're putting out this season so far. They're just at the start of the season, so they're going to have plenty of news out, and I look forward to speaking with their management and exploration guys in the not too distant future, probably around the time that they start getting some assay results in. But I'm quite impressed with what I see so far. Okay, another impressive news release that went out last night was from NGEx Minerals. They drilled 90 meters at 4.05% copper equivalent and 21 meters at 8.09 copper equivalent, confirming major discovery at the Luana-Huasi project. They are having, I think it's already happened, or yeah, it's happening now. They talk about these spectacular, Luana-Huasi, by the way, means house of the moon. They talk about their the fourth greenfields discovery made by the Lundin Group within the Vucania district, joining the Fila del Sol, Los Alados, and Jose Maria deposits. Luna Huase is located approximately 6 kilometers northeast of Filo del Sol, meaning Ridge of the Sun, along the same major structural corridor that also controls mineralization at Los Alados, 9 kilometers further to the northeast. The portion of the Luna Huase target drilled to date comprises a large swarm of quartz sulfide veins carrying high values of copper, gold, and silver. This mineralization is interpreted to be porphyry related and is considered to be strong evidence for the presence of a nearby porphyry copper gold system, possibly underlying the extensive alteration zone immediately to the west of this season's drilling. Here they, oh, that's the PDF of the news release. Sorry, I don't need that. Let me go back here. There's a quote from Wojtek Wadzicki, I hope I said that right, who's the president and CEO of the company, and commented, and I quote, "These results are the best initial drill holes that I've seen in my career, and they confirm Luna Huase as NGEx's next major high-grade discovery in the Vucania district. We are very encouraged by both the quantity of veins and the consistently high grades intersected during what is only the first step in testing a very large alteration system. Today's results increase our confidence that the Luna Huase veins and the surrounding 11-kilometer square alteration zone were created by one or more porphyry copper gold systems similar to the Fila del Sol system located 6 kilometers to the southwest. It is very important to note that the veins drilled to date overprint propylitic, sorry, easy for me to say, alteration indicating that this mineralization is in the outer halo of a yet to be discovered porphyry copper center that is likely to be close by. We are very excited to begin working our way towards the center of the system in the next drill program. Right now in the Southern Hemisphere, it's winter time, so they'll shut down for a while and then get right back up at it. But look at some of these spectacular highlight drill holes, 60 meters at 7.52% copper, 4 meters, 8.44%, 10 meters at 18% copper, and 6 meters at 14% copper equivalent, 10 meters at 7.08, 52 meters of over a percent, 14 meters at 3.11%, 3.4 meters. It just goes on and on and on and on here. And you can look at the table of results there. I'm hoping that this news release has an image of the project. Let me go to the project. Where is that project? There's a phenomenal picture. It's somewhat similar to this. I'm not sure if this is the actual one, but you've got this big alteration zone and they're just getting started into it and hitting these phenomenal results. Let me see if one of their previous news releases has that image. Let me see here. It's quite an impressive alteration zone, and especially when you're drilling into it and getting the kind of results that they have. Sorry, I'm not going to fish around here too much longer. Let me see. Should be in this Vucania. Oh, I know where it is. Here it is. Let's go look down in their presentation. Talk about all the potential. Look at this area here where the Jose Maria, Los Alados, Filo del Sol, This group is just phenomenal, having phenomenal success in this region. And now NGEx also has found something quite spectacular as well. I can't find the picture of that. Sorry about that. I'm not going to fish around anymore. Maybe I'll go and see if I can grab their overall corporate presentation. Where is it? Anyways, as I said, it's a big alteration zone. They're just getting into it. It's got these phenomenal grades and thicknesses. You know, the stock is already up quite dramatically. The only thing I can say for people that want to position themselves is that maybe you could wait a bit into the winter months when they'll be a little softer on news, although they could have news coming out quite consistently from the completed drill. So it's a tough one to sort of pick your spots, but it certainly looks like this is going to be a monster of a discovery that turns into a future mine. Alrighty, North Peak Resources is a new pick that I made not too long ago, about a week and a half ago, and they announced, North Peak Resources announces partial assay results from one of 2 core drill holes at the Prospect Mountain Mine Complex in Eureka. Now this was there was a hole drilled, here's the details, which have now partially assayed. Highlight results from hole WSO2, 14.9 grams of gold, 227 grams of silver, 0.9% lead, 0.5% zinc, and over 1.2 meters. Why this is important is the big success stories in the Eureka camp by I-80 Gold and by Paycore have been these CRD systems with zinc, lead, and silver, and an overprint of high-grade gold. So this past hole that really wasn't followed up on or even assayed, it, shows the signs that they could have something like what I-80 Gold and Paycore have. Another one had 8% zinc over 7 meters, including 4 intervals of greater than 10% zinc with a maximum result of 23% zinc. And there's a quote in it from Brian Hinchcliffe, who's North Peak's CEO, and he stated, and I quote, "These unexpected results extend potential gold mineralization some 280 meters west of shafts number 2 and number 3 and the mine workings at Prospect Mountain, but also contribute to the vision for the reemergence in the Eureka camp of underground mining. To that end, the company can report completion of a mobile MT airborne geophysics survey and the first phase of channel sampling on the main 7925 level, as well as startup of other programs, all directed towards identifying drill targets. While it's exciting to receive these results from a previously drilled hole, it is early days and additional drilling needs to be completed before true widths and grade cutting levels of gold can be established." That was a quote from Mike Sutton. The previous one was from Brian Hinchcliffe. And they give you a bunch more details about the results. It's quite surprising that that stuff wasn't assayed. Here are some of the main diamond, the levels that were mined. Even the levels that were mined look like CRD deposits. They tend to be these stacked zones and like this and this and this and a network of these, and they often go quite deeper, as we've seen at I-80 Gold and Paycore. What is very interesting is that they have a bunch of underground workings, 11 kilometers of underground workings that are above the water table. So these are all dry and they can get in there, they can sample them, they could use them possibly in the future for underground drilling. Here's a geological cross section shown looking north. As you can see, all this underground working, and it still remains open. And again, those pods that were mined are very reminiscent of what a network of CRD mineralization looks like. So yeah, I recently made them a pick. I'm glad I did. I think that they've got a very bright future. I'm very bullish on the Eureka camp. I was very early into the discovery that I-80 Gold made of a bonanza CRD with very high grades of silver, lead, and zinc, as well as an overprint of high grade to bonanza grade gold. And then Paycore made a similar discovery about 3,000 meters to the south of that. And I think this project is about 4,000 or 5,000 meters south of Paycore's. And so, you know, this is part of a big network of faulting, which is important for the mineralization to make its way to the surface. And they're getting that excellent mineralization. And from the historical work of 11,000 or 11 miles of underground working, it tells you that those old miners were chasing some very high grade material. So I think this is another important player in the Eureka camp. And I think you should do your homework, check them out, go to their website, check out their corporate presentations and all that sort of stuff. Alrighty, so there you go. We had a few good companies to talk about, and one of them is, in the case of Goliath, is a sponsor. My sponsors pay a fee, and this helps me to be an advocate for them and the industry. But it's really important to note that these shows that I do and reports that I do are not meant to affect the valuation. They're purely for information purposes only. I'm not making buying or selling recommendations. Really, that's up to you to speak with your financial advisors to understand and assess whether any company, whether a sponsor or a pick, or even a company that I talk about as far as great news, is suitable for you. The big thing is, I'm a big proponent of investors doing their homework. These shows that I do are kind of an effort to be part of that homework process, but only a part of it. It's important for you to go to their corporate websites, check out their news releases, check out their corporate presentations, and any other information that will be helpful for you to understand the company. And the reason that I think all of this is so important is that I believe that informed investors make the most logical decisions and avoid emotional decisions. And no matter what sector you're looking for or in, or companies you're looking at, being well informed, I think, is a recipe for success. On that note, have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.